The ocean air was thick with salt and sorrow. Elara Vane pressed her coat tighter around her, stepping off the ferry that swayed against the crooked dock of Cael Morwyn, a coastal Welsh village cradled between mist-wrapped cliffs. She hadn't set foot here in over 20 years, not since her father had left in the dead of night, chasing a legend about a bell that could whisper to the past. Now he was gone, dead, and all that remained was a rusted key and a letter marked with one line. The bell remembers Elara, it always has. Her father's house stood at the edge of the cliff, its shutters rattling like bones in the wind. Inside, time had collected in dust and unopened books. Among the relics was a strange journal filled with a language she didn't recognize. A mix of Old Welsh, Latin, and symbols she'd never seen. Her heart raced. This was no ordinary obsession. The villagers eyed her with a mix of suspicion and pity. Old Gwen, the pub owner, whispered, "That bell took more than your dog, girl. It don't toll for the living." But Elara was a linguist, not a believer in curses. She knew myths hid truths, and her father had died for this one. Late that night, Elara took the journal down to the cove where the sea met black rocks like broken teeth. The tide was low, revealing ancient stone steps that led beneath the cliff. Lantern in hand, she descended into the unknown. She found a hollow chamber, its ceiling covered in constellations carved in stone. In the center stood a pedestal, and upon it a slab etched with the same glyphs from her father's journal. As she traced the symbols, a hum filled the air. Her memories blurred. She was back in her childhood, the day her father left. Only now, she saw something she hadn't before. A man cloaked in gray watching them from the forest. Time wasn't just memory. It was bleeding into now. Elara returned to the village shaken. That night in the pub she met the stranger, tall, gray-cloaked, eyes like stone. "You've opened it," he said. "You shouldn't have." He introduced himself as Dalen, the last of the bell keepers. "The bell is not for listening," he said. "It's for forgetting. That's why it was sunk. To protect the minds of those who would rewrite their pain." Elara refused to believe him. "You're guarding a secret. One people have a right to know." Dalen shook his head. "Some echoes are too loud. The bell gives, but it takes far more." Days passed and Elara felt the effects. Dreams becoming real, memories merging, strangers recalling things they never lived. The village began to fracture. Gwen mistook Elara for her own lost daughter. A young boy wandered into the sea chasing a vision of his dead brother. The bell, wherever it was, had begun to toll again. The journal revealed more. A passage. "To silence the echo, the heart must give what it fears to lose most." Elara knew. It was her grief, her clinging to the memory of her father, the pain she refused to let go. Dalen led her to the final chamber, beneath the cliff, deeper than before, through a flooded tunnel only passable during the blood moon tide. There it stood, the bell of Morwyn, giant, cracked, glowing faintly with a golden hue. As she approached, voices flooded her mind. Her father's laughter, her mother's lullabies, the warmth of childhood. "I can keep this," she whispered. "I can stay." Dalen's voice cut through. "Or you can save them." She looked back. Visions of the villagers suffering, trapped in twisted versions of their pasts. The bell didn't give peace. It gave escape and addiction. With trembling hands, Elara placed the journal on the pedestal and whispered an ancient phrase of release. The bell let out one final chime. Elara awoke on the shore, the journal gone. The steps beneath the cliff had vanished. The tide was calm. In the village, people remembered only dreams. Gwen smiled for the first time in years. The boy's eyes were clear. She returned to the house. Her father's voice was gone from her dreams, but the ache had softened. Elara left Cael Morwyn with a new journal. She didn't write what had happened. Some echoes are not meant to be chased. Some truths are sacred in their silence. The past holds beauty, but not if it holds us. Grief is not a chain, but a chisel. It carves us into something new.